The gentleman from Missouri.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I would yield 5 minutes to the ranking member of the Contracting and Technology Subcommittee, the gentleman from Illinois, Mr. Schock.
Gentleman from Illinois is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in support of House Resolution 2965, the Enhancing Small Business Research and Innovation Act of 2009. This bill incorporates the important language of legislation that I introduced in House Resolution 2772, the SBIR and STTR Enhancement Act. I would like to thank first Chairwoman Velasquez, Ranking Member Graves, and Mr. Altemeyer for working to move this important piece of legislation forward and doing so in such a bipartisan way. I also want to thank my colleague Congressman Nye for his work with me on the subcommittee level to ensure that the process of modernizing the Small Business Innovation Research Program was done in an effective, efficient, and bipartisan fashion with the input from those who are most important, that is the small business sector who utilizes this important program. The Small Business Innovation Research, or SBIR program as we refer to it, was established over 20 years ago and is an important resource in assisting small business owners wishing to bring their technological advancements to the marketplace. While small business owners represent some of the brightest innovators our country has, because of the high cost of doing technological research for the government, small businesses are unfortunately often underrepresented in receiving such research-intensive government contracts. When the federal government looks to the private sector for the development of new technologies and ideas, they must look beyond simply large corporate conglomerates to the small businesses that truly drive our economy and create American jobs. I am encouraged that this legislation and the language contained in it will make a number of necessary and overdue changes to the SBIR program, ensuring its continued use to help in the commercialization of those innovations made by small businesses. Additionally, this language will equip the SBIR program with important new tools to bring it more in line with the needs of small business owners in the 21st century. Included are important provisions to allow for increased oversight, more transparency, and greater flow of information between the recipient and participating agencies. We will now have more timely solicitation and responses from these agencies, the creation of an online database to properly study and measure the performance of businesses participating in the program, and new restrictions regarding potential program abusers. These changes will help SBIR continue to be one of the few government assistance programs which actually work. Finally, by responsibly increasing the grant limits, which have not been altered in over 20 years since the program's inception, while simultaneously not increasing the total funding pool, we ensure that this program is streamlined to become more effective and efficient, to focus on granting funds to those potentially successful ideas that need this type of support to transition from concept to reality. Rather than throwing more taxpayer money at an unnecessarily large amount of grants, the SBIR program will now focus on investing in those ideas from small businesses which actually possess the potential to reach full commercialization phase. Today, this House will make these important changes to the SBIR program to ensure its continued use as a resource which helps small businesses bring their new and novel ideas to the market, which also provide a value to our economy we all know so desperately needs it. Knowing that over 60% of American citizens get their paycheck from a small business, it only seems right in this tough economic time that we focus on beefing up those support efforts here at the federal government to help the largest employers in our country, small businesses. I urge a yes vote in passage of this bill. Yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman from Oregon.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to recognize Mr. Tonko, a leader in energy innovation, and yield the gentleman from New York 2 minutes.
Gentleman from New York is recognized for 2 minutes.
I thank the gentleman for yielding. Mr. Speaker, as you know, small businesses are the engine that will repower America's economy. Research and innovation in the small business venue have greatly contributed to advances in science and technology across the board. In fact, the city of Schenectady, in my congressional district, the 9th largest city in New York State, is nicknamed the Electric City after Thomas Edison moved his company, Edison Machine Works, there in 1887, which was later followed by the opening of GE headquarters in 1892. Today we are considering H.R. 2965, the Enhancing Small Business Research and Innovation Act of 2009. I rise in full support of H.R. 2965. This program has proven to be one of the most successful federal programs for technological innovation in United States history, delivering more than 60,000 patents and hundreds of valuable innovations in agriculture, in defense, in energy, in health sciences, homeland security, space, transportation, and other fields. Through Phase 1 and Phase 2 SBIR, countless jobs have been created in the capital region of New York State. It is through programs such as SBIR that my district has developed the underpinnings of support for a boom in high technology innovation and economic recovery. In fact, just over a month ago, a constituent of mine, Dr. James Wu of InterScience, Inc., in Troy, New York, was at a national conference in Virginia. This conference was to showcase Navy SBIR Phase 2 projects to program managers and large defense contractors for transition. A great majority in attendance supported protecting the small business opportunities that have been part of this programming. The reason is because small, innovative companies should have a genuine place at the federal table. This place is for backyard inventors and local contractors, for small and very small businesses where the research is not likely a breakthrough in technology, but a breakout of implementation. At a time when our national unemployment is at 9.5%, we should do everything in our power to strengthen small businesses that generate 70% of new jobs in our country. It is important that we continue this flair, and Mr. Speaker, I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman's time has expired. Gentleman from Nebraska.
The balance of my time.
Gentlewoman from New York.
Mr. Chairman, I yield to the bill sponsor, Mr. Jason Allmeyer, for 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
Yes.
Gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized for 4 minutes.
I thank the chairman. Some of these innovative small businesses that are involved in this bill used to qualify for venture capital funding under the previous rulings that were in effect until the year 2003. And I introduced the Enhancing Small Business Innovation and Research Act to modernize the key programs for this country's greatest innovators, America's small businesses. And since its inception in 1983, the SBIR program has facilitated American competitiveness, providing quality research and spurring technological innovation. But technology has changed since the last reauthorization more than a decade ago, and my legislation reauthorizes the program to keep up with the needs of modern small businesses. Additionally, this bill expands the talent pool from which the programs can draw by broadening the types of businesses that can participate to a more diverse set of firms and making SBIR research more available to all areas of the country, even those not traditionally considered to be hotbeds of R&D. Under this bill, federal funding for technology innovation will be focused on supporting the work most likely to develop new products by targeting resources towards small businesses with the highest likelihood of commercialization. And perhaps most important, this bill helps firms participating in the SBIR programs to attract private investment. As we respond to the recession, SBIR and the Small Business Technology Transfer programs are two critical tools that provide valuable seed money for entrepreneurs who are willing to explore untested concepts and develop new products. Today, it is difficult for small businesses to access financing by any means, venture capital or otherwise. We should be helping small firms to raise capital, not penalizing those that do. In my home region of Western Pennsylvania, venture capital investments have spurred a resurgence in life science and biotech startups. Some of these innovative small businesses have even partnered with businesses in Cleveland, Ohio to promote private investment and growth. And now, more than 80 venture capital funds have invested in dozens of healthcare enterprises throughout this Tech Belt region. Allowing these cutting-edge firms to compete for SBIR grants will foster innovation and accelerate job growth. Small businesses are our nation's greatest innovators. I ask my colleagues to support the small businesses in their districts by supporting this bill.
Gentleman yields back the balance of his time. The gentleman from Missouri.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I'd reserve the balance of my time. I don't have any more speakers. So.
Gentleman from Oregon.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to inquire how much time remains to
The gentleman from Oregon has 4 1/2 minutes remaining.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I recognize the chair of the Investigations Oversight Subcommittee, Mr. Miller, the gentleman from North Carolina, for 2 minutes.
Gentleman from North Carolina is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you. I also rise to support this legislation. Others have spoken generally of the agility and the energy that small business innovation gives our economy and how SBIR and STTR contribute to that. But I want to talk about 2 companies in my district that have gotten SBIR and STTR grants. The first is GeoFX, which got a SBIR grant from NASA in 2000 to develop a sensor to detect electromagnetic changes beneath the surface within 30 feet. NASA